What's going on, you guys? So, I wanted to talk to you about Civilization VI on mobile. So, I noticed they did a couple of changes, and I also discovered an article that kind of validated an argument that I had on an earlier video, which I mentioned how the graphics on Civilization VI for the iPad as well as the iPhone are not where it needs to be. It kind of is like almost like 2011 kind of graphics that you would normally put on like an iPad 2, right? Now, I have an iPad Pro second generation, and when I look down on the graphics here, they are not really good at all. You know, honestly, when I start PUBG, which, if you guys are not familiar, to one of those big games that are now on mobile, as well as Fortnite, and you probably heard of that, the graphics on there are really, really crisp on an iPad, you know, and it looks almost like console level. But then when I start Civilization 6, I'm kind of like, why is the graphics not like crisp? This is a turn-based game, you know, so you can actually probably even make the graphics a little bit better than on a real-time, you know, first-person shooter. So I'm kind of like wondering why was it, you know, doing this. So on an earlier video I mentioned that, and I discovered it. So before I want to kind of, you know, show you that article, I want to kind of compare this, right? So you have the graphics here, and as you can see, they're pixelated. They're not where they need to be. So this is the Civilization 6 that we all know and love. This is the PC Steam version, playing at 1080p, so not like at the crazy 4K resolution, but look how beautiful this is. You see like the fire going off, the crabs, absolutely beautiful. I'm playing the US. I'm trying to, oh, here. Look at beautiful animations. Look at the mountains. I mean, it's just absolutely gorgeous. The waves crashing into the shore here looks absolutely beautiful. They did make an update where they made the text a little bit more easier to read, because on the last one, and even the text, you see where it says warrior and melee strength, that's not retina quality. That, to me, it's like blurry a little bit. So I was trying to figure out, why is even the text not well? All right, so check this out. So Anna which is a tech website that I kind of follow, where they talk about technology, and one of the articles that they had was on the new iPad Pro third generation. Now I want to read you this, because this actually discusses the Civilization 6 as one of the games they covered. Now, they were comparing this game to the PC version, and they were using the actual iPad that I currently have in my hands. So this explains why the text on this game is not where it needs to be, why it looks blurry and it's not at retina quality here. So on the iPad, Civilization 6 is configured to use Metal instead of the DirectX 11 or DirectX 12, which is found on the PC version. As an iPad app, though, there are far fewer configuration options in iOS, because in iOS you can't change the graphics on there. By default, the game on iOS runs at just 1112 by 834 resolution. This is the non-retina resolution of the last generation 10.5 inch iPad Pro. And there's no way to customize the graphics through the UI like there is on the PC version of the game. This resolution here is below the quality of your TV. Your TV is at 1920 by 1080p. That's HD. This is below that. And the iPad is capable of a resolution better than your TV. So in my head, I'm wondering why the developers set it at this. So reading, you can edit the config file to unlock the Retina version of that resolution, though, which doubles the effective resolution to 2224 by 1668. Also, because the game is a port of the PC version, you can also access the debug menu to look at the frame rates. We loaded up the same save game files on all devices and the same configuration file on multiple devices with the game resolution within 1% of the iPad, and then checked out the frame rates for each. So as you can see, they have the frame rate at the normal one that the developer set, and they get 26 FPS. At stock settings on the iPad, the GPU has no issues capping out the frame rate at the 27 frames per second maximum. Doubling the resolution of this civilization has literally no impact on performance. The iPad Pro can run at 2,224 by 1668 easily at the, as you can see, 27 frames basically, frames per second, than it was doing it on this one. Now, Intel's UHD 620 paired with the Core i5 in the Surface Pro 6 is not a frame rate limited, but the GPU is bound at just over 21 frames. So my iPad Pro can run Civilization 6 better than the Surface Pro 6. But yet I'm stuck with this frame rate by default. Now, you can go in and there are ways to, you have to get the configuration file, which means you have to get a computer and go inside the actual application and change out some of the files to get it to the Retina where it needs to be. AnandTech kind of elaborates a little bit below here. The results from the Civilization 6 is more or less the entire iPad Pro's experience in a nutshell. The A12X SoC, which is on the iPad Pro, the new iPad Pro, has ample performance, but the limitations of the implementation of this game on iOS limits what the user can achieve. With a frame lock of roughly 27 frames per second, the iPad Pro has no issues at all maxing that at all times. And the benefits of a frame rate limiter is that the amount of power required is much lower, and therefore the battery life is better. So basically what they're saying is the developer set it at this crappy frame rate, at this crappy resolution, because they wanted to save power on your iPad. So they're trading out performance, the graphics, the text, all that, so your battery can last longer. Which, I could understand that, but at the same rate, I am not paying $20, or right now it's on sale for $14. I am not paying that for a game that is below HD quality. So right now, if the developer upped it to this frame rate, I would easily pay $20. I would easily, in a heartbeat, pay $20 for this game. But since they have it at this, I'm not gonna buy that game. One of the things about Civilization 6 is that it's a great game because it's a civilization building game, right? And it has a great tech tree, it has addictive gameplay, but one thing that I really love about this game is the graphic quality. You have these amazing graphics, that you can zoom in and see like fires and the waves hitting the shoreline, and it's absolutely beautiful. And that's eye candy while you're playing the game. And I feel by not having that, you're kind of screwing the user a little bit, So I just want to say to the developer, please go in, make the graphics back up to where the Retina is. I'll be happy to sacrifice the battery power on here, and you can sacrifice the battery power by lowering the brightness of the screen. So if you notice the battery is going really, draining pretty quick, lower the brightness. You still get the beautiful graphics. Or, plug it in. It's simple. It's not that difficult. So anyway, that's my little bit of a rant. I wish they put the Retina resolution on here because it would be so incredible. But since they're not, I'm not buying this game. Anyway, I bought the PC version, and until they change this, I won't buy it. And if they do change it, hey man, you get an extra $20 from me. See you guys in the next one.